Well, to talk in a bit more detail about the Egyptian proposal that's on the table, we're joined by Mirette Mabrouk. She's a senior fellow and the founding director of the Egypt and Horn of Africa programme at the Middle East Institute. Thank you very much indeed for being with us. There have been some reports that Hamas is open to the Egyptian proposal. Do you have any more information on that?
I don't actually have any more information on that. First of all, thank you so much for having me on. I don't actually have any more information on that. I would not be surprised if they were open. They are in a greatly weakened state, but I think any acceptance on their part is going to include some form of hostage swap and some form of withdrawal from Gaza. Now, considering the amount of damage that Israel has wreaked upon Hamas's infrastructure, considering that Yahya Sinwar has been killed, considering all of these factors, I mean, a withdrawal might be something that Israel might agree to. I've not the slightest idea, but I do think that Hamas, at the very, very least, is going to be sitting there and is going to be seriously considering anything on the table.
And from Cairo's perspective, how important is it for them to be the ones that manage to get a deal instead of Qatar? Because there does seem to be a certain rivalry there, just in terms of remaining a relevant player in the region.
Okay. I actually don't think that it's an either or, because I don't think the Egyptians would be able to pull it off on their own. I don't think the Qataris would be able to pull it off on their own. And really, nothing is going to happen without acceptance from both Hamas and, most importantly, the Israelis. There isn't really a rivalry between Egypt and Qatar in the sense that they both provide different contacts, a different set of networks. They've really been working together on this. And as for Egypt remaining relevant, I think it depends what issue in the Middle East you're talking about. Certainly in this issue, I don't see any way of cutting into Egypt's relevance on the issue. There will be no negotiation that does not have, no truce that does not have Egypt front and center. So I don't think that is the question. I think the question is how to put something practical on the table that will be accepted by Hamas, but also increasingly, because we've mentioned quite rightly that the death of Yahya Sinwar might open up avenues to possibly a truce. But then on the other hand, my understanding from Israeli politics is that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has also been fairly reluctant to accept any truce. And therefore, we have to realize that despite the best, despite the best considerations of both the Egyptians and the Qataris and the Americans, it really is going to be something that for Hamas and Israel to step up on.
And Qatar differs from Egypt, of course, doesn't it, in that Gaza is right on Egypt's doorstep. Egypt used to, in fact, control Gaza. Does it have a strategy when it comes to the reconstruction of Gaza and what it would like Gaza to look like and who would control Gaza in the future?
So Egypt used to administer Gaza rather than control Gaza. They're two very, very different things. And again, I think we're looking at it slightly backwards. Any viable strategy for Gaza is going to have to be something that Israel comes up with in coordination with whatever Palestinian entity is going to be in charge. It's not going to be Hamas, obviously. But also Israel has said that it won't accept a PLO entity either, which makes life difficult. In Egypt's case, as is the case with, I think, most Arab countries, Egypt would be interested and would be delighted to help with reconstruction, with administration, with any help there is. It will not, I think, and this is important, to be part of any multinational force, and neither will any other Arab country if there is no viable, at least, track towards a Palestinian state, because it won't want to be seen as complicit in an Israeli occupation. But you are absolutely correct in thinking that the welfare and the security of Gaza is extremely important to the Egyptians, because it's been a conflict raging on their borders, and they already have two other conflicts raging on two other borders. So the swifter a path to some sort of secure stability, the better it would be for the Egyptians.
All right.
Not to mention, of course, the Palestinians and the Israelis.
Thank you very much, Mirette Mabrouk. We appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.